Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today we have in the top right as our blue Terran player playing for Team Dragon Phoenix Gaming. It's none other than Cure. And in the bottom left as our red Zerg player playing for Kaizi Gaming, it's going to be Solar. Both Cure and Solar are players that have always been mentioned as one of the top players of their races, especially in Korea. When you look at their actual results, it's always a little bit disappointing. Cure winning GSL Season 3 last season as his first real big win. Solar, well, performed well earlier this year already in the last chance, but never really won, or well, hasn't won in the past 5-6 years. Of course, he won DreamHack Stockholm, I believe, in 2015. But ever since then, it's been awfully quiet around Solar when it comes to wins. Always making good runs, or very often at least making good runs, a couple of times a year, but never getting that big dub. I feel like two players of a very similar caliber, just so close to the top, but not quite there, at least at this moment. Anything in StarCraft can change very quickly, of course, and perhaps we'll see Cure back winning another GSL in the future, perhaps even this year. But for now, let's take a look at this game here on 2K Atmospheres, as we have a Reaper opener against a Hatchery first on the side of Solar. So, a very standard opener for both players, nothing too fancy, nothing too freaky going on over here. This Reaper will make its way across the map. Drone is hiding at the third base location, praying that nothing's happening. It must be pretty scary as a drone, with your limited vision, not knowing whether the Reaper is going to show up in the natural or at your location. Of course, I guess Zergs have some type of like primal communication. I don't think they need to speak with one another, no? They all are part of the same hive mind. So I guess the moment the hatchery or the drone's in the natural spot it, this drone knows that it's safe and can build the hatchery without any real issues. Of course, as the Reaper does end up going towards that third base, you can take an extractor, and usually life is kind of okay. Now, Queens are going to be moving forward, trying to push this Reaper away, make sure that the first creep tumor goes up. It's one of the most essential things in this matchup, is that that first creep tumor will indeed finish up. Because if it doesn't finish up, oh lord, life will get very, very tricky very quickly. Now, over here, starport in the main base, as we see no quick second gas being taken. This means we're going to be going into a Viking. This is a build order that Cure has been playing a lot lately, and he is pretty darn good with it. Now, what does that quick Viking do compared to, let's say, a Banshee? It allows the first two medevacs to be produced a whole lot faster, because you don't need to wait for Cloak to finish on the tech lab, like you usually would need to if you're playing triple CC Banshee, which in my opinion is the more standard build order, but this is a builder that is slightly more greedy. You're going to struggle more against early roach all-ins, but as the map is 2K Atmosphere, I doubt Solar is going to be playing a 2-base roach all-in, or 3-base roach all-in. We don't really see a roach warren yet, and he's just producing drones right at this moment. First two Hellions make their way across the map. We'll perhaps go into this mineral line, see if they can figure anything out. They cannot quite yet. Next two Hellions will get rallied downstairs here as another depot goes down, and we'll see Viking indeed into Liberator. This will most likely be followed up by 8 cars. Now the barracks timing is going to be very similar to what it usually is with a triple CC Banshee, but like I said, you just can't get that reactor a tiny tad faster often. So it's important. Also, you can delay your second gas, which means you have slightly more minerals in the early game. That makes life just a tiny bit more comfortable as a Terran player. On the Zerg side, we have continued queen production, as we're kind of expecting out of most Zerg players. These days, most Zerg players like going up to 7, 8, 9 queens is something we see. I know Raynor sometimes even goes up to 11, 10, 11 queens. Of course, also loves these queen splits. You see Solar just moving these 4 queens as one unit, trying to stop the Hellions from getting anything done. Life will become a bit harder once the Liberator actually shows up. I'm not quite sure where it is. Makes its way across the map right now. Vikings will need to deny the vision on the sides so that the Liberator has kind of a clean entry in towards that main base. And that's exactly what's happening here. Viking is kind of pushing away Overlords. Hello, Cure, can you pay attention to the Viking? There we go. Do not want to be losing that Viking for free, as it just forces Solar to keep all of these Overlords at home, which makes any other unit that isn't a Viking way more likely to deal damage, whether that is Hellions or a Liberator, literally any other unit, because right now everything comes last second here for Solar. Well, this Liberator gets queued up in a Spore and dies, and these Hellions will walk into the Queen, so far no real damage being dealt. Pretty poor start here for Cure. who does get a fast 1-1 going. We see that reactor here already done. Can start these 2 medevacs if he has enough gas, and it does seem to be the case. Marines are on the way as the second reactor is about to finish up. Was not created by the factory, so that is a little bit odd to see. Opting for a slightly different setup here. Might actually get 2 mines in that first push as a result. So a faster second barracks that build its own reactor, and this factory building a reactor for itself, so it can build 2 mines with the first push. Now this does give a bit of a twist to the classic follow-up with just 16 Marines. Makes it harder for pure Ling armies to deal with this. And I kind of like that. It's a cool move. You know what I'd love even more? If a fast armory would be built with this. If you get a fast armory with these fast 2 mines, there's not going to be speed yet on the centrifugal hooks by the timing that this hits. Or speed on the banelings. Centrifugal hooks will not be done yet. That's what I wanted to say. That means that no speed on the banelings, no +5 HP on the banelings either. That would make life really, really difficult for Solar. Solar does have a good eco, and he has a decent amount of units. But we have a crap ton of units. There's no mines in these medevacs. Well, he left the mines at home. He's just leaving them at home to deal with any potential run-bys. Also fair play. Hellions instead are with this army, and we're going to be seeing a little bit of creep denial here. We'll manage to take out some of these links. It's all kind of overstimmed on this army. Good surround out of Solar. This push gets cleaned up in such a beautiful way here. Solar is just absolutely owning in this early game so far. Creep spread looking healthy as well. Look at it, all the way towards that left side. His vision is fabulous. Just kind of missing like maybe a Ling over here and some Lings in the middle, but he's fixing that as we speak. The Lings in the middle. 2-2 is on the way, and Solar starts working on these rocks, but from the wrong side. That's the Terran side, my friend. And Cure says, get on out of here, son. We don't want your kind around here. And the Zerglings do indeed move back to their creep. Back to the flock. There's a lot of Zerglings here. Perhaps he's getting his older brothers to beat up these Marines. They took out little Johnny that was working on the rocks earlier. Yeah, here we go. Zerglings have a lot of brothers, let me tell you that much. They have one like absolute blood brother from the same cocoon. But then every Ling by itself is also another brother. So if you have a fight with one of the Lings, very often the rest of the Lings will also show up. Just like in the olden days. In high school, when you'd have a fight with a kid your age and he'd bring his 4-year-old older brother. 4-year older brother, good lord, speaking is difficult. To win the fight for him. Never kind of understood the charm of that, but then again, my brother only was 1.5 years older than me. So, he wasn't as useful in a fight. I didn't really fight a lot in high school either. Who is fighting a lot in high school? Or these Marines? Aggressive fellas here in the medevacs will get picked up and try to drop at the 5th base, but there's Lings already in position. It feels like Solar is playing a fantastic game here. He's in complete control of this map. He knows what's coming, where it's coming, who it's coming, where, when, what, how. He literally knows all the if this was a whodunit, Solar would tell you the answer right now. And we're only 8 minutes in. Any regular type of mystery or whodunit film would last at least 90 minutes. So that there's some build up. So I hope that Solar is also going to be giving us that build up. So far he's just been kind of winning fights and dominating the map. It's already tacking into that Lurker then. Now I know the supply doesn't... Ooh, that was a nice mine hit. The supply doesn't necessarily kind of show what I'm saying. It's not like Solar is light years ahead in supply. He's actually pretty even, but his Bane count is pretty decent. He has a lot of creep. His tech is very fast. His upgrades are fantastic. I just don't see him dying until a very long time. He has 5 bases set up, which they're not going to be under any type of serious pressure for the next 2.5 minutes. And by that time, Lurkers will be out. So Solar is going to survive until the Lurker stage without any major trouble. And if Zerg gets the Lurkers without any trouble, that means that Terran is in trouble, because Lurkers are darn hard to deal with. 5th CC is already on the way. Probably will need to turn into an orbital to try and scan any potential Lurkers. We have Vipers on the way, Adrenal Glands, Seismic Spines as well. I do like that we get at least 1 Viper before these Lurkers start building. Of course, Lurker's not as useful yet if the Seismic Spines aren't done. Hello, Solar. Ooh, Solar with the first error here. A little bit of a minor mistake. Not paying attention to these 2 medevacs. And as a result, these medevacs might be capable of taking out this Lurker then. That would be huge. Because with that, any timing that Solar wanted to hit with Lurkers is just going to be massively delayed. Now these medevac, or well, this single medevac that's still remaining, should get killed eventually by a Viper, but it's not even getting energy yet. The Lurker then gets rebuilt in a pretty spicy location as well. Solar really needs to be careful with that. I wouldn't even mind if he would have built a second Lurker then to get both upgrades at the same time. But where the position was so brilliant and I really was afraid for Cure's life against that first Lurker push, right now Cure is, you know, he just added probably a minute and a half to his timer saying, hey, I have a minute and a half extra to prepare here. I have a minute and a half extra to be on the map. I can perhaps deal some damage, and we see some pretty decent trades. This is the timing where Terran can do the most, usually. It is just before Lurkers, when they're maxed out and they have 2-2. They have a decent amount of factories, usually 2, producing 3 mines at the same time. You get these powerful split armies, a lot of creep can be denied. We were going to skip that phase of the game, but because of the Lurker snipe, or the Lurker dance snipe, this phase kind of gets reintroduced, and we actually see Cure here once again falling for the Lurker. And are you kidding me here, Solar? Second time in a row. I can't believe he rebuilt it here. There's transfuses. Hello? Please. 2 transfuses available on these queens. Does not use them, and the Lurker then will fall against only 4 Marines. Cure's army will, well, yeah, it did get cleaned up. I don't see the medevac anymore, at least. And once again, Cure says, well, now that there's not going to be any Lurkers, I can just stay on the map even longer. More Marauders on the way. No real need for a transition yet into tanks. Do I need a Ghost Academy? Yeah, but do I need to build Ghosts yet? No, definitely not. I want a fast, mobile army that can clear a lot of creep, maybe take out a 6th base a couple of times. Mine's going to be trading fantastically against these Banelings, and Solar had so much momentum in this game, but by now has just been delayed by 3.5, maybe even 4 minutes with his 2 Lurker Dens being sniped. Now, if Cure gets another Lurker Den snipe, I think Solar should honestly just leave, but even at this point, it is not looking as good anymore. I actually favor Cure in this game. He got his 5th base up without any issues. He's already getting extra orbital command centers. None of this would have happened had there been Lurkers out on the map already. Taking a 5th base would have been an absolute dream. A dream scenario for Cure. And this is better than the dream scenario. He didn't even dare dreaming of this. Sniping the Lurker then twice. That is absolutely insane. Couple of mine hits, not quite going to connect with the Banelings here though, so a pretty decent fight out of Solar. Will clean up the left side. There's still a right side of this army, of course, and Solar actually is in position here as well. So, although he has not been capable of attacking into the Lurkers, his defense has been okay. His defense really has been okay, but Cure has been capable of setting up already. A couple of Banelings are going to attack these SCV. Parasitic Bomb being used on one of the medevacs as well. This planetary is actually starting to fall. If this planetary falls, that would be kind of bad here for Cure. It's only 4 Hydras, more links coming in as well. 12 workers as well as the planetary going down. That's a big hit here for Cure. It really is. And I'm surprised that he allowed that to happen. Felt like a little bit of a sloppy fight on that left side, and just like that, Solar leveraging, with these medevacs not quite flying where they need to be flying. Some Banelings will connect with the Marines as well. I do not like how this is looking for Cure anymore whatsoever. Once again, now that Solar kind of feels that he's back in control, that his Lurker then has finished, he's like, okay, let me first take some good fights here with Ling Bane, Hydra Ling Bane, morph 10, maybe 12 Lurkers. I mean, he's a crap ton of gas. Holy cow, how many Hydras do you have? 16 Hydras. It is possible that he just morphs, like, legit, like 14 Lurkers or so. Okay, he's gonna go for 10 Lurkers, 23 Banelings. Look at his gas investment into this army here. It's absolutely bonkers. He's going to attack, does not get scanned. There are a bunch of ghosts out already, and there's a lot of mines here as well. Mines are fantastic against Ling Bane. Ghosts are good against Lurkers. But if the Lurker count goes above 10, 12, only having Mine Ghost usually isn't enough, and you're going to either require Liberators or some type of tanks. Good scan here, very important for Cure, so he can start moving his Ghost into position already. Cloak has finished for the Ghost. Good lord. Speaking English is very difficult for me today. These rocks are going to be taken out as well. Overseer will be shot. Oh, big cloak here. A couple of these Lurkers are going to fall before the fight even truly happens. Former Overseers are here. Mine should be capable of zoning out these Ling and Banelings as well. Big hit there. What was that? 18 kills on one Baneling, one more Overseer gets sniped as well. Cure with a decent fight. Liberator production starts realizing that that Lurker count was pretty high already, and there is a possibility that more Lurkers will be built. Now Solar has the tendency to transition back, kind of roll back his stack into Hydra Bane after the initial Lurkers. So he'll say, okay, I'll morph 10, 9 or maybe 11 Lurkers. I'll push with it, see if I can deal some damage. If I cannot, I will continue playing Hydra, Ling, Bane with a couple of Vipers and see if I can just play that composition. It's a very mobile composition that isn't quite as vulnerable against higher ghost counts, and he really enjoys that. So these Lurkers are kind of being sacrificed here, but this is a very worthy sacrifice, as he might be capable of taking out another base. Couple of snipes going down though. 20 workers have fallen already. The right side base will stay alive as well. I'm not quite sure what happened over there. Looks like Solar took a mediocre fight and did not end up killing the base. 54 workers out only right now for Cure, who is on 5 bases. There's another turret on the way here. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is super Solar. This is exactly how Solar plays. Gets into his initial Lurkers, then transitions straight back into pure Hydra, Ling, Bane, and eventually, if he feels the need to, will go into Infestor, Brute-Lord. But very often, we'll see 25, 30, 35-minute games out of Solar, only playing Hydra, Ling, Bane and a single Lurker push if he believes that that Lurker push can be successful. He is not someone that believes in the Lurker late game. He's lost too many games, I guess, in the Lurker late game, or he just feels too comfortable in the Hydra, Ling late game. Now, this Ghost is going to nuke one of the bases. Let's take a look. Ooh, look at that quick switch. Sees it immediately, starts an Overseer, losing part of his army. To go back into the Observer vision here. A couple of Banelings will connect with the Planetary Big Parasitic Bomb on a lot of these Metavacs, with good split here out of Cure as well. The nuke hits the base, but kills hardly anything. The 5th base gets... that was a kill, right? There is a command center flying over here. Might be capable of turning into a planetary, but the worker count for Cure is so darn low right now. And it's absolutely insane to me how well Solar is playing. After the unlucky Lurker then Snipes, the double unlucky Lurker then Snipes, he really hasn't made that many mistakes anymore and showcasing some fantastic ZVT currently. 2 Liberators are going to be moving forward as well. So what is this? This is 8 Metavacs, a couple of Ghosts moving in, 17 Ghosts moving forward, more Mines as well. That's a lot of Ghosts. That could be a big hit. Mine barely does not connect with these Banelings, but was darn close. These Liberators are good, but in order for them to be truly useful, I think you're going to need more than just 2, buddy. Especially if they're on the wrong side. One Liberator is going to change directions right now, but surely that's not going to be enough. Okay, let's once again look at that Solar vision. Oh, he finds the dot. Find the red dot, find the red dot, move the drones away. Correct calls here out of Solar. Sends in a couple of Changelings as well, trying to figure out what his opponent is doing army movement-wise. He knows that his opponent's army is most likely slightly stronger off creep, but on creep is going to be really difficult here for Cure to fight. So very slowly but surely he moves forward. And I think the correct call here for Solar is to go for a little bit of a run-by. Try to split off a part of his army to just go around. Try to snipe maybe a planetary, open up this general area for a future run-by. Instead, Solar wants to engage into this position, but that's not possible. If you engage into a position against Ghost, you need to commit to it. You cannot go back, because then you'll get sniped. And now Solar does decide to commit. Banelings will semi-connect with some of these Ghosts. And honestly, not the worst fight, given that Cure is only on 42 workers, and replenishing this army is going to be extremely difficult. The mine count has kind of been reset, only a single mine left. Bottom right is going to get taken out, but that is no issue here for Solar. He's on 96 workers. He has, well, more bases than I have fingers on 2 hands. Is that true? I'm not sure if that's true. Immediately just rebuilds that hatchery as well. This is a poor fight though out of Solar. It still needs to be careful, of course, because like I said, if you pretend to engage and then you run back, the Ghosts get off like 5-6 snipes. You lose 5-6 Hydras there. That is really expensive. That is an expensive hobby that I don't think Solar can quite afford. Yes, he still has 2k resources in the bank. Yes, his income is fantastic. But this army out of Cure is also looking pretty big. Banelings trying to connect right now. Lots of snipes going down, not only on Hydras, but also on Banelings. Big mine hit. Well, not quite going to get the connection that he wanted. There's one more mine over here. Also doesn't get the connection that Cure wanted. Big pickup, but these Liberators will get picked off right now. There's still a lot of money in the bank here for Solar. Solar looking to immediately leverage one good fight into a kill of this 5th base. He might be capable of getting it. Oh my god, just barely gets pushed back. 158 supply right now for Solar though. Solar might have slightly overstepped. Are there larvae? There's no larvae available. Oh no, these Vipers are going to be dying as well. Nidus network in the main base currently. What's in the Nidus network? Nothing. There's no Lurkers either. So this Nidus network is completely harmless. It's more of well, what actually is it? It's like a distraction. But it's a fake. The Cure isn't even paying attention to it. He says, well, you got nothing in there. I don't give a crap. I'm killing you right now. Cure's going to continue moving forward. And after being behind the entire game, Cure might actually be capable of killing his opponent here. A couple of these banelings will be capable of connecting with some of these Marauders and Ghosts. There's a lot of banelings still here. Cure very far on creep. Does get some decent splits. Ghost sniping, medevacs healing. I think Cure might have done it. I am not actually sure. This is turning into a very close game all of a sudden. This Nidus is going to get denied. There's still 3 links in the main base trying to go for the E-base for whatever reason. One more wave of banelings, 4 banelings on the way. 2.1k minerals in income. Cure's mining from the bottom right. Cure still mining from that 3 o'clock as well. More banelings rolling forward. This is absolutely bananas. I cannot believe it. Solar, after a dominating performance, takes one too many poor fights on that right side, trying to defend a base that he didn't need to defend, and ends up losing the game. Oi, 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 oi. Cure with some insane splits. Look at that lost. Look at the lost tab here in the bottom right. 62k against 36. Holy crap. How much? How much did Solar mine this game? Well, an insane amount. Look, I just want to go back to that point real fast where that big mistake happened. And, well, the big mistake, perhaps, I'm not even sure how big of a mistake it was. He fights over here. Off creep, defending practically nothing. I mean, he doesn't really need to defend this base. He has these. He still takes an okay fight. Like, I think this initial trade is okay given the situation. And then this is where the mistake happens. Yeah, going for a planetary that he didn't kill. I mean, he still has 2k in the bank, but he doesn't quite have enough larvae available. He's getting a Nidus network, but the ghost count is still at 13. Yeah, this was a mistake. This was the mistake that lost him the game. If he gets this planetary, maybe it's a different game, but even then, like, there's so much bio still. The army of Cure actually was still bigger here. I hadn't realized that either, and neither did Solar. Solar thought that he absolutely blasted this. I also thought he blasted it. Solar looked at his money, was like, okay, I can rebuild, that's no problem. Just didn't have the larva available though. If he waits, sets up again, and then busts his left side, or does an attack towards the right side in a little bit, I think he's going to be just fine. But wow, what a sick game there out of Cure. Honestly, crazy patience, manages to hold, and eventually just gets the win. Very impressive stuff. Fantastic game. Really, really good ZVT. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. It's definitely one of my favorite ZVTs that I've seen this year. Thanks all so much for watching. And don't forget to hit the like button if you did enjoy it. Share it with your friends that haven't played StarCraft yet. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you, and bye-bye.